The Utah Mammoth is sorta proud to present NASHCAST.
What the is a NASHCAST?
NASHCAST, the only hockey show on the planet. Hosted by a human speed bag, fourth line wannabe, healthy scratch, schnozzy moto, Tyson Nash.
Who the hell is Tyson Nash?
Never heard of him.
And the baritone with a brain, the velvet hammer, Mr. Silky, Tono Suave, the radio voice of your Utah Mammoth,
Code Blue!
Mike Folta.
Oh, Captain, my Captain!
NASHCAST begins now.
Ready for takeoff.
Here's Tyler Ganoush and Mickey Foghorn. Wait, what? Oh, here's Tyson Nash and Mike Folta.
Holy Folks, feeling good, my brother, feeling good. The Olympic break is still underway. You were on holidays. I am on holidays myself, so I'm taking a deep dive. I'm in a FLA, baby, Tampa. The sun is shining. The Pat McAfee muscle shirt. I'm just missing the muscles right now, but I'm representing my buddy. How are you doing?
Oh, I'm great. I'm just glad you had time to record this in between recording episodes of Jersey Shore, Tyson. Holy, are you in a cyber truck right now? Like you have like the most punchable face sitting in that truck right now with the tank top on.
This is the only truck, believe it or not, that actually fits my nose. Look at the windshield on this thing. Like, it's the biggest windshield I think I've ever seen. But you're right, I've never been in one of these things. This thing is completely badass. I got to get myself one of these.
I could see you. I could see you in one of those for sure. For sure. Does it have like the huge display and like the huge like screen and stuff?
It does.
Oh,
It does.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Nice.
Oh yeah. Yeah. The thing is gnarly, man. It really is. There's like launch mode or rocket mode. I don't know what they call it, but it's insane. This thing goes 0 to 60 in like, I don't know what it is, like 1.6 seconds or something. Like, this thing's 10,000 pounds and it gets up to speed in a hurry. Kind of like when you play men's hockey, Foltz.
Exactly. I need one of those strapped to me when I'm or tugging me around the ice. But yeah, you look straight out of Jersey Shore. Like what are the guys' names from Jersey Shore? They all have like these like kind of funny Italian names, right? Like that's what
Tank
I'm
tops.
seeing right now.
Oh yeah, as greasy as it gets, buddy. As greasy as it gets. Yeah, we're gonna be doing a little day drinking later with my brother. The family's here. The kids are all here except my son Ty. He's back in ASU playing hockey, but we're enjoying ourselves. I like this. I can get used to these Olympic breaks. I need a little more sun on these bones. I'm not quite like Magda yet.
I'm going crazy. I'm climbing the walls, like just waiting for like games, because here in Mountain Time in Utah, like a lot of times the U.S. or Canada, the teams who are watching the Olympics, they play at like noon or midday, and then your day is kind of done for like what are we gonna do the rest of the day? This is kind of all I had planned. So, how much have you been watching, Tyson? Like I've been pretty dialed into the U.S., seeing a little bit of Canada and some other countries too, but getting ready for the bracket part of the tournament. We got quarterfinals here. Actually, today, if you're listening to this on Wednesday, the U.S. playing the winner of it's Sweden and Denmark. But how much are you soaking it in, and what have you thought so far?
You know what? I'm watching as much as I can. The times kill me, right? Just because what are you watching a game at 10:30 in the morning, 2:00 in the afternoon? I mean, usually I'm napping at that time, folks. You know that. I got to get some beauty sleep in. But I've caught a few games. Not surprised at all how this is all unfolding. The women's hockey has actually really surprised me. I found myself watching a lot of those games, and that has been tons of fun, educational, eye-opening, all the things, right?
Yeah.
And then obviously, Team Canada, Team USA, no surprise where they're at, how they're dominating so far. I mean, that what is it, McKinnon, McDavid, and Celebrini line? Like, Celebrini is like the talk of the tournament. It's not even close. What this kid is doing at his age, it's just, it is so much fun to watch. I can't even imagine being a guy like Sidney Crosby, right? Who's kind of the godfather of the group, and what he's seeing. It must remind him of what it was like when he was, 18, 19 years old playing for Team Canada, because that is how good Celebrini has been.
Yeah, 4 goals for Macklin Celebrini through the 3 pool play games to lead all, or tied for the lead amongst all skaters in the Olympics. Him and Tim Stützle both have 4 goals through the prelims. McDavid leads Team Canada with 9 points through the prelims. So they're starting up the quarterfinals on here on Wednesday. So again, that's U.S. and then the winner of Denmark and Sweden, and then Canada will have the winner of that is the Czech Republic. It's the Czech Republic and Denmark for Canada, and then U.S. plays the winner of Sweden, Latvia. I'm getting my flags mixed up here, so it's kind of it's kind of a little trivia time looking at the flags. Canada will have to play potentially Finland and then the Czech Republic. Czech Republic first, likely, should the Czechs win. So that's their path to the gold medal game. U.S. would have to fight their way through any combination of Sweden, Latvia, maybe Germany, or Slovakia. So haven't really seen any big upsets yet, which, we saw maybe some games where the U.S. didn't look great against some of their opponents in the prelims, but everybody survives. You're kind of figuring it out, right? And these are all-star teams that have come together in a couple weeks trying to get their chemistry going, and all you can hope for is just to be 3-0 heading into the tournament. But hopefully we get we're rooting for US Canada to make it all the way through, but like I said, a lot of other good teams that are in the way there. We saw JJ Peterka for Team Germany. He's playing alongside Tim Stützle with the Germans, so he's had a couple of points so far, assisting on some of Stützle's goals. We saw him have an assist against Team USA. We've seen Clayton Keller play for the Americans. Tyson, he got in one game there against Germany at the end of pool play. Looked pretty good, no points, but was playing alongside Tage Thompson and Dylan Larkin. What do you think of the way that Keller's game translates to like international play, Tyson? The way, like, his puck handling, the way he moves it.
I think perfectly. I think, Clayton Keller, the more ice, the more space that he has, the more dangerous he becomes, right? It's just that simple. He's got eyes in the back of his head. I thought he looked really, really good. I can't imagine, even though you're playing for Team USA, you're just happy to be there, all the things. I know Clayton Keller, he's not wired that way. I don't think anyone on that team at that level, at that caliber, is wired, that way to sit out hockey games,
Yeah.
right? That's not what Keller does. So I think he had a little extra jump in his step. He looked really good, looked really confident. And Bill Guerin and the coaching staff is going to have some tough decisions to make as this tournament goes along and the games get tougher and tougher. And maybe that is the one downside for Keller, is that, the tougher the games get, the more physical they get as they move along in the tournament. Maybe they think that hurts him a little bit, but we know, watching him on the day-to-day, that it doesn't. It just fires him up. That's why I cannot wait to see what the Mammoth can do. Can they get in the playoffs? They've certainly put themselves in a really, really good spot. It would be a massive disappointment and letdown if the team doesn't make it this year because of where they are right now, right? And Clayton Keller, if they're going to get there, is going to be the biggest piece to it all happening or not happening. It's that simple. So I can't wait. I can't wait for hockey to be back in the National Hockey League. But first, as you mentioned, we got the Olympics, and who's going to make it? I got to think it's Team Canada, Team USA.
We do have to mention our interview coming up here. Rob Ray, a great chat with him on the NASHCAST Altcast. So all-time player, all-time broadcaster. He's coming up in a little bit. Remember to follow along on Instagram, NASHCAST Official. Tyson, I want to ask you, though, before we get to Rob, Have you ever heard any like funny or appropriate stories that you can tell out of like the Olympic villages, guys who have been there before? I can't imagine what that experience would be like with some of the best athletes in the world.
I can't either. I actually think about it quite often, probably more than I should have. Just, I mean, can you imagine like being single in that village? Like you're in the prime of your life, not only prime of your life age wise, but physically you're in the prime of your life, right? You've trained, you're an absolute beast, and you show up and you're in the Olympic village with every other stud from every other country, and you're all athletic. You have so much in common, so much to talk about, but obviously you have a lot on your mind and you're trying to stay focused. So I think that would probably be the most difficult part, but I would imagine there is some serious shenanigans going on in the Olympic Village right now. Like, so I cannot wait for story time when those guys get back.
What do you think of Team Canada staying outside of the village? They're not staying in the Olympic Village. They're like they have their own hotel basically to try and kind of seclude themselves. Team USA, they've got boots on the ground. They're in the village. They're amongst the people.
I know. I love it. I absolutely love it. I'd want to be in the village myself just to take in the whole experience, right? I mean,
Yeah.
I cannot imagine how much fun they're having, the conversations, the late nights, just all the chatter, right? These are your new teammates. You have so many questions. You're asking about other players, about coaches, about general managers, about cities, right? And I'm just happy to see that for me, the Utah Mammoths is doing so well. All the players that are there, they're having a ton of success. And I can't wait to hear the stories when they get back. It's going to be fascinating.
Yeah, I can't wait. You want to get to Rob Ray
Do
here?
it. Rob Ray, take it away, my brother. 900 games. You got to have over 200 fights. One of the toughest players to ever play. I hope you guys enjoy the interview.
A pretty big guest coming up.
He's your boy.
He's my boy sometimes. We're like hit and miss. We're like
Oil and water.
Oil and water, yeah. I'm not sure which one I am. 5th rounder to the Buffalo Sabres, 900 games. Oh my God, 3,207 minutes. I played with this guy for 7 years. I saw him fight absolutely everyone. Didn't see him lose too many fights, but that's a cranium, people. That's a huge cranium. Not sure if it's the best camera angle for that, but
I can't believe we can fit it
there's
in
my
the
boy,
box.
Rob Ray. Welcome, Rayzor.
I hate to say you guys could go screw yourselves, but go screw yourselves, okay? When you guys get my age, you just dream you're going to look this good.
Hey, when we asked you to come on, you're like, I can't stay up that late. I've already been in bed for an hour.
Usually I'm taking my second pee right about now, so it's like you guys are kind of putting me.
Hey, I wanted to get, before we get into your career, because you 900 games, and you're going to tell us how great you were, and that's all a fallacy, but you were very tough. Talk about the Buffalo Sabres and what they are doing right now, because, listen, I did not see it coming. They fire the general manager, Kevin Adams. Jarmo takes over, no real changes, but I watch this team on a nightly basis, and this is completely different team than it was from the start of the year, the last 14 years. And for a guy, I tell you, you've had the hardest job in sports. When your team doesn't make the playoffs for 14 years in between the benches, you do an amazing job. But talk about this team right now.
Well, you know what? We went on a road trip. It was a 14-day trip, and we lost the first 3 games. The guys had a little time, and that's when they started talking about Kevin Adams being replaced. So I think the guys amongst themselves just more or less today, we got to put all this behind us. We got to just start playing the way we can. And, you saw them do it so many times, for a game or two, and then it would disappear. So they knew they could do it. And, they just kind of themselves put it together. And then when Jarmo was finally put in place, he went in and told them, what he was expecting. They looked at it. They're okay. There's somebody in charge now. Let's go. And they haven't taken the foot off the pedal. So, to say it's 1 or 2 guys, no, it was the whole group. And I think, it's been good goaltending. It's been, a lot of offense. Our defense have really taken huge steps. So all across the board, it's been a huge improvement.
Kevin Adams might be the only GM to get fired and win general manager of the year. But Rayzor, Is this sustainable? I mean, you're watching these guys day in and day out, the way they're playing. Is it sustainable? I know there's probably going to be a rough patch coming, like it's been coming for a lot of teams around the league, but can they make the playoffs this year and do some damage?
Well, we've had the rough patch for 14 years now, so they know how to handle it when it comes. But, yeah, I think they can. I think that, the way the game they're playing, it's a fast, it's a physical, it's, even when they're down, they could be down 1 or 2 goals, and they're still playing the same way. It's not becoming a bunch of individuals. These guys are working together. They're doing all the right things. So, yeah, as long as the goaltending and everybody stays healthy coming out of the break here, I think they should be in a good spot. There's a lot of separation now from the top 8. And, by the time you come out of it, some of those teams that are out of it right now could be making some changes to, kind of relieve the pressure. So, yeah, I think they can. It's goaltending, like I said, has been a huge part for this team this year, and it's been off the charts, and guys are starting to put the puck in the net. So, yeah, there's no reason why. And by time we get back from this break, we're going to be 100% healthy too with everybody in the lineup. So that's going to be a major factor as well.
Alex Tuch is playing much better than he was for 2/3 of the year. He's kind of the dark cloud hanging over the team because he's such a great player. Trade deadline coming up, no extension. What do you see with him? And do you think if there's no extension, do they move on from Alex Tuch and get something in return, or they stay with him as kind of sort of a rental because of how good the team's been playing?
Well, I think it's pretty much in Alex's court here now that, he has played a lot better, and he's been playing really well right now. But he's such a big part of the team. I don't think in a situation where you are right now, you want to all of a sudden pluck out a major factor and a big part of the team. Does that disrupt everything? So, yeah, I don't think there's a problem with keeping Alex. I think everybody wants him. It's just, can they come to the agreement on what the price is going to be? So, he plays such a huge role in that dressing room with this group and on and off the ice that it's, if you kept him through and they can't come up with something, then fine. Both sides at least put the effort in and did it. I don't think you see him move before because, before the playoffs, because I think it just disrupts things probably a little too much.
Rob, put your general manager hat on right now. That's going to be a big hat to fit that head, but I can say that because I'm all the way over here in Utah.
He wouldn't have said that to you on the ice.
But what are you doing as a general manager? You guys have been sellers for so long, and I would imagine that you're going to add a few pieces. What would you like to see the Buffalo Sabres add?
Well, I think that, if you're going into it and you're going to be serious and you're still in a good spot when, that time comes, that, I think you have plenty of assets, young guys that have proved they can play, and there's really no room for them right now. So, in Roch, if you have to use those kind of guys, you're in a situation, I say, you got the depth now, so you can use draft picks to get. I think Yarmo's going to look at it and just, want to create the depth and strengthen any area he can. I think whatever's out there that can improve your team, I think he'd be willing to do it. Is there one area that you need it? No, because as I said, we're scoring a ton of goals. We're goaltending has been good. Everybody's talking about carrying 3 goaltenders. Well, thank goodness we've had them all year because they've had a tough time staying healthy. So we've had to use everybody all the time. So is there that area? D's great. That's deep. So, and you have Kesseling, healthy. Timmins should be coming back. You're going to get Danforth. You're going to get Norris back by then. So in every area, you've got some depth. So is there a major need to go get something? Maybe if you're upgrading, but I don't think there's one area in the lineup that you like, we got to fix this because there's nothing really needs to be fixed right now.
Rayzor, let's look at your career now. Buffalo Sabres, I hope they get to the playoffs. I've taken a lot of heat over the years for being critical. I'm sure your job is much more enjoyable bringing good news and good vibes to the fans every single night than losing. But your career is pretty remarkable to play 900 games, over 3,200 penalty minutes, one of the toughest SOBs I've ever seen. We've had our battles over the year, but when you look back at your career, what are you most proud of?
Making it. I think that for me, that was the biggest thing because I wasn't drafted till after my 3rd year junior. And, just going into Roch and getting a chance to sign a contract. I didn't even know what it was when I signed it. And, it didn't matter. I would have played for free at that point. But I think, I think it's like everybody. I think, everybody talks about their first game. Yeah, that was awesome. The day I got drafted was probably the greatest day of my life. And then the next day going home, and I come from a town with 1,200 people, and there was probably 800 of them at my house when I got home from the draft that day. So, things like that. Obviously, making the finals in '99 was pretty cool. But, you sit back, Matthew, and a lot of the, the individual stuff. It's more like did a thing with Brad here tonight, and you sat there for 2 hours just shooting the shit about the past and things and life, and that's what it is. It's friendship. You guys know what that's all about. It's like that's the best thing you take out of the game.
How about
the money? Take it.
Yeah, the money doesn't hurt, eh? Unfortunately,
he's the only guy that would have played for free and made $100.
Yeah.
And put 125 away.
Yeah.
Hey, Rayzor, talk about your first game in the National Hockey League. You were excited about getting drafted. That first game, what was that like? I believe you scored, on your first shift? You had a goal and an assist in that one, didn't you?
Yeah, goal and assist +3. Scored my... Yeah, no, just a normal night. Honestly, God. And Rob Brown that night. You guys remember Rob Brown?
Oh, yeah.
Pittsburgh? Yeah, Brownie came. There was a point in the game where he lines up with me and he says, "Let's go." And I'm like, I look at him, and here's this guy scored a ton of goals by that time in the NHL. And I'm like, you fucking kidding me? I said, I'm on a roll right now. This is I'm not frightened. I'm not sitting in the penalty box. So that would have been my only opportunity to ever have a Gordie Howe hat trick as well. And I kind of let that go the first night. But nah, you know what? It was statistically wise, it was the best game I ever had in the NHL, was my first one. And I scored in my last shift in my last game in Toronto when I was with Ottawa too. So first shift, last shift. So that was pretty cool. But I don't know. It's something that we all know. You get that chance. If it was only one game, you did it. That's the biggest thing.
We fought a lot, and we talked the other night just about our team in Buffalo, and having you and Maisie protect me and be there every single night made my life a lot easier. And statistically, my best years were in Buffalo because I had you guys to alleviate. And when I went to Pittsburgh, then I had to fight all the heavyweights. And when you guys were there, I was like, I got the third toughest guy or the fourth toughest guy. It's a lot easier than having to fight, George Laraque or Ty Domi every night.
Yeah.
When you look back in the rivalries we had with Toronto and your fights with Ty, and now you've become friendly with Ty. Never did I think that you would become friends with Ty, because I don't know how many times you fought, but man, some of the best fights I've ever seen. You guys just punch each other in the face nonstop.
Well, you know what? We had a history. We played junior against each other. He was in Peterborough, I was in Cornwall, and we had the same agent when we got drafted. We were roommates at the draft. We got a fight in the hotel room at the draft, but the day we both get picked, that night it was like the two of us were best friends. You rode home in the car. They dropped me off at my house, and Ty was in the back seat, and agent was in the front with Danny Daou, and it was like, hey, I'll see you later. Next time I saw him, we're fighting in Winnipeg, one of the games that we were playing against each other. So, it was a mutual respect, I think. And we both understood what we had to do. We understood that, we had a role to play. There was nights that I needed him to get in a fight to get things going, and always willing to do it. Same thing back to him. If momentum thing, if you had to do it, you had to do it. But as you said, over the years, you kind of just put that stuff behind you. You're friends now. You talk, and most people think you got to hate people when you're out there. But Matthew, look, we lived together forever, and then we ended up fighting a couple times after you left. But it's just our job. That was part of the game, and after the game, you go hang out too. It's not a big thing. I think people looked at it so much as, oh, these guys hated each other. Are you kidding me? Back then, you'd go to the same bar after the game because you never left town, and you'd be hanging out with the guys you just got done playing with. So it's a lot different now than it was then. But I think people get a look at it, or they want to think that everybody hates each other, but it really doesn't. It's not.
Well, what happened back then certainly doesn't happen now. There was a fan on the bench on the ice, and I think he bit off a lot more than he could chew here with you three savages.
I was actually in junior. I was in the stands watching this game.
Oh, is that Maisie?
No, that's Rayzor just pumping him with 25.
I hit him 18 times and I stopped because my hand got sore. But he had climbed up in the back of the glass behind the bench. There was a 5-on-5 fight on the ice. And Herb Raglan had run Clint Malarchuk. They're all fighting on the ice. This guy, we look, and he's sitting up on the glass behind the bench. And I remember Muck's going, "Give me a stick, I'll hit him." And he went to grab, he had a stick, and I got a picture of him ready to poke the guy as he dove in the bench. But he dove in right where I was. We threw him on the ice. He jumps up off the ice and comes try jumping back in the bench. I had him by the hair. His head was on the board. I hit him 18 times. And then see the cops coming out, jumping on him here, right? And they wrestle him to the ice. They get him off the ice. There's bullets laying all over the ice that had fallen out of the police officers' holsters and that. They're out there picking up bullets off the ice. You look down the bench, and Quebec guys are just kind of hanging over the bench staring, going, "Well, what the hell just happened?" And all you can hear is the guy in the back hallway just taking a beating from those guys back there. But come to find out, he did an interview afterwards with French media, and he said he was protesting the violence in sports.
How'd that go?
Hey, didn't he sue you?
No. It ended up costing me $3 or $4 grand. I think through the team. I don't know. Back then, the team might have paid for something, and then I had to pay him back for it. But that was it. I never got suspended, never got fined or anything like that. So back then it was okay. Fines were write-offs, so you needed 1 or 2 a year.
As tough as you were, Rayzor, you're as tough as anyone to ever do it. But did you have the anxiety that a lot of tough guys talk about before every single game? I know Twister was a tough guy on my line, and I mean, he didn't sleep much, I can tell you that.
No, and even for a guy like him that was so tough that you thought about it all the time. It was, and a lot of the times back then, they would bring it up in the mornings. They would be like, "Hey, you and Ty gonna fight," or "You or whoever is on the other team." The media would talk about it all the time. And that fight you're showing right here, he hit me in the right cheek so bad that it pushed an orbital bone, broke an orbital bone up around my nose, my whole side of my face full of air for 9 days.
Oh, God.
And he comes after, but you know what happened? Jim Pizzatelli, our trainer's in their room before the game. And he's like, "Hey, Twister, Razor's coming after you. He's coming after you. He's going to get you." And I was kind of on speaking terms with Tony. It helped him out with his motorcycle run and stuff like that. And I'm like, all of a sudden he comes flying out and he's foaming from the mouth. And he's like, "We're going to go." And I'm like, "Why do we got to go? Like, there's nothing going on. Like, can't we just play?" Puck drops, he starts throwing it. I'm like, uh-oh. And but come to find out, Pizza had stirred it all up. He comes in the room after and he felt bad about it. And he's like, "Man, this is what happened. I didn't know." He said you were coming after me. And I was like, that little friggin' Pizza, I wanted to kill that little prick. He just I don't mind fighting him, but at least let me know you're coming, or something.
Pizza we used to call our trainer Jim Pizzatelli Don King, because he'd go before the game to every trainer and set up fights. Be like, Razor's gonna fight Paul Laus and Barney's gonna fight Jovo, and he'd set it all up before because he wanted to see the fights and set us up for. Now, we didn't mind doing it, but like you said, we wanted to do it on our terms.
When you're taking on a guy like that, I'd like to get a little heads up, maybe that you'd stirred the pot a little bit, so I'd be a little more prepared for it.
Rayzor, fighting everyone that you did, give me your top 3 that you ever fought, or that you were like, okay, I got to be ready for this one.
Joey Kocur, probably number 1, man.
Wow.
He was, he hit you so hard that he hit me one night in New York. My eye was shut before his hand left my face. Like, he just hit that hard, and you just prayed that you got through it. Who was tough was Paul Laus. Was probably, I'd put him next.
Paul Laus, Barney was talking about him last night.
We were having a drink last night. I said, Rayzor and Paul Laus they had some good ones. He was like, "Really? Paul Laus is that tough?" I go, "He was tough."
Oh, dude, he was tough. He hit my helmet one night. The whole thing exploded. Like, there was foam left in my head. The plastic was all gone, and it exploded. He hit me so hard. He was just a beast. I'm telling you, he hit so hard, but just quietly did it. He was never that guy. Hey, attracting attention to himself. But man, could he throw? He was tough. They're probably the 2 big guys. Kenny Danico is somebody you fought an awful lot. That was a really tough guy. Very smart fighter. So strong, held you up, and you you had to muscle them the whole time, and you had to throw them at the same time. So, yeah, probably top 3 there.
I remember one of my first games, it was in the Spectrum, the old Spectrum, right? And Rayzor gives it to Dave Brown pretty good.
Oh, was he tough.
And Brownie was tough. And
Yeah.
Brownie is, now he looks like a librarian, but I mean, he's a massive human being. And Rayzor got him pretty good. And I came over the box, and I was pretty fun. I'm like, you just beat up Dave Brown. I'm like, high-fiving, like, don't high-five me. I'm like, why? He's like, because in 5 minutes, I got to fight him again.
Yeah, that fight, I remember, and I'd never fought Dave before, and Mux was our coach then. And he, all of a sudden, we're squaring off, and all I could hear is Mux in the behind me going, Rayzor, don't do it. Don't do it. And I'm like, too late now, man. We're in the middle of this one. We're going to have to finish it off. So ended up doing okay in it. But, yeah, he was a tough man. He was a really tough man.
We're showing the Kocur fight right now, and you're not wrong. I mean, he hits to knock your head right off your shoulders, does he not?
Oh, his hand was the size of your head. And he just laid in. He was so strong, too. And didn't matter if you tried to get him in tight or you'd never stand out with him. But you had to get in tight on him. But he was just so strong coming up. So you're skating away there going to the penalty box with, whew, I survived. You know, it was how you did. It was like, I'm still alive.
I remember there was like a little 3-on-3, like it wasn't a full 5-on-5, it was like little scuffle, and he grabs me, he's like, do you want some? I was like, not at all. not one bit. Rayzor has warned me. Rayzor has warned me, and Rayzor warned me before. You remember Todd Fedoruk when he first came up?
Yeah.
The fridge? Yeah. Rayzor fought him. I think you might have been his first NHL fight.
First fight, yeah.
And Rayzor calls me. We're playing them the next night, and he goes, do not fight this guy. He's the real deal, and he's strong. Only time I got like 4 punched, cut me open, and I'm like, man, I should have listened to Rayzor. Like, this guy knows.
Hey, Rayzor, it looked like you hurt Kocur. He was struggling in the penalty box there.
Yeah, my helmet must have cut his face or something like that when I was hugging him there. Hey, to this day, I did a thing a few months ago with him and Kenny Danico and guys up in Toronto. And I still look at him. I told him, I said, dude, I come around you, I'm nervous. Still to this day. And I'm like, I'm very careful what I say around him just in case I ever run into him sometime. I don't want to upset him.
So, Rayzor, if you had one, besides Barney, but if you had one last fight in you, who are you fighting and who do you just want to kill?
Oh, man, I don't know. You know what? I would like to step into some of the guys now that think they're so tough.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe, right? But, you know, I sit there and I go, there's a couple guys out there that, you know, the kid in Columbus, I think he's tough. But I think he's the best one out there just by watching him, seeing what I've seen him in fights. But, you know, there's so many guys out there now that pretend so much that it's like, you guys wouldn't have survived 2 months, you know, 25 years ago. I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I'm just saying the way you are and how tough you think and talk about it, I'm going, you didn't do that because you know what? You'd have 8 guys lined up to get a piece of you just to prove you wrong. And that would be the worst. So, no, if there was one last fight, no. Maybe one last good one with Ty.
Wow.
Just make it 14.
Take us back to the bus ride when we went to practice and you got your first one-piece stick. Would you like one more chance at me on that bus? I'm not gonna lie, one of the better scraps I've been in, even though I took all the punches to the face and was split open as we went to practice.
Well, I was never a guy that really got catered to by an equipment company for whatever reason. And so I finally got this stick and they were brutal. Like they were heavy, they were hard as hell, they were stiff. And I was so proud of it because it had, you know, your name on it, was your pattern, it was everything. And on the bus at practice, and he smashes it, thinking he's funny, trying to be funny to everybody. And I lost it. I was like, and I tell you what, by the time I finished my career, everybody was using those sticks. I still didn't have one. I still used wood sticks at the very end.
All because of Barney.
Hey, we're literally going toe-to-toe on the bus, but I'm not hitting him, and he's hitting me. But now I can't stop laughing because I broke his stick. And I'm uncomfortable, so I'm laughing, and he's hitting me. At the end, he gets so angry, just like when we fought, like when I got traded to Pittsburgh. He headbutts me at the end, and I had like a bridge, knocked all my teeth. Now I got to go practice on a line with him. and I'm bloody. I got no teeth. Brad May's sitting there. Of course, I'm never going to beat him in a fight, but I just couldn't stop laughing. And then, you know, I get traded to Pittsburgh years later. Again, he has dinner at my house. My wife cooks for him. We have a bottle of wine. We play, and he's like, dude, you got to settle down. We fight again. And again, I can't stop laughing, but he's the only one punching. And he's so, and he gets, the one thing about Rob is he fights to hurt. He gets angry, and it takes him a lot to get angry. But man, I could piss him off, and I was like the little rat, and he was the tough one.
You were the guy. He was the guy, Tyson, and be out there, and he'd be yapping at everybody. And the score could be so out of whack that it really didn't matter anymore. And he'd still be running his mouth. And you were like, night after night, it was like, shut up, okay? Shut up. Because you do something, you keep doing this, I'm going to have to go do something. Or I haven't played in the last 2.5 periods. And all of a sudden, I'm going to have to go out on the ice and get, shut up. Just shut up.
I think I know a few things about that. I'll never forget Al McInnes. It was like 6-1, and I don't know how many games I did it. I was the same way. I never shut my mouth. I stuck a starving dog off a meat wagon. But Al McInnes comes down the bench to me, and he goes, would you shut up? Because it's not going to be you that gets hurt. It's going to be me that gets hurt. So knock it off.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's, you know what, and you know what, you guys, I'm between the bench. You never hear anybody even talk to each other anymore. And that was the funnest part some nights. Like, I remember giving it to Donald Brashear so bad. That poor guy, now I feel bad for some of the things you said. We were lined up in front of the bench one night, and him and I are lined up, and I knew my guys were right behind, kind of thinking what might happen. And I'm like, I yell at the ref. I go, whoa, 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 I need a break. And he's like, what's wrong? I go, this guy's breath is so bad, man. I need to get some fresh air before I have to start skating here. And Donald's like, poor Donald's looking at me. He's like, oh, Ray, why would you say that? You know, like, why would you say something like that? And I'm like, but that's, you know, just that kind of stuff you don't hear any of it anymore. Too bad.
Yeah. I know. It's the one thing that I do miss. And listen, I like the new game. I love the skill level. I watch the speed, everything about it. I miss the rivalries. I miss some of the toughness. I really miss the rivalries when you play on a Wednesday night in Buffalo and then you go Friday night in Toronto or Friday night in Philadelphia, and you know there's going to be something that happens between the two teams, right? That's the thing that I miss the most. When you look at the new game, what do you appreciate? What do you wish was a little bit more besides even the chirping?
Well, I think the passion, I think, in the game a little bit more, you know, I talk to guys a lot, you know, when maybe to get in a fight, when not to get in a fight, when, you know, maybe use it as a motivational thing. It's so much, and I don't want to say robotic anymore. They just play to play. And, you know, sometimes there's a side of the game where you can bring a lot more to it. And I think bottom line too is you got to remember we're in the entertainment business too. It's people want to see this stuff. Like still to this day, when there is a fight, places go nuts, and you know, win or lose, they don't even care. They just excited they see it. You know, I think that's the side of the game that, you know, they got away from a little bit that I think they could always use a little bit more.
You're one of the best to ever do it, Rayzor. But do you have any regrets? Would you do anything different when you look back at your amazing career?
Yeah, there was a couple games I wish I didn't go out the night before that I had to play.
I was with you.
Bobby Erie took me out one night, and we were in Boston. We weren't supposed to play the next day, and it was an afternoon game. We were out all night. Somebody got sick, and I had to play the next day. I couldn't even bend over to tie up my skates, and somehow I ended up scoring a goal in the game, and I'm like, oh, this is the worst game I ever played in my life. So, no. Would there change anything? No. I just wish now, because you're around them all the time, I wish that we knew more about the physical, the conditioning side, the nutrition side a little bit. You might have felt a lot better, you know, over the time. Other than that, you kind of have an experiment and figured it out on your own. But, you know, these guys now, everything's like, we didn't even get food some nights after a game. They'd give you a bag lunch after a game. You're getting on the plane, you're playing back-to-back games. You got a sandwich and a piece of fruit and a bottle of water, and that's what you had after a game. So, you know, now it's totally different, but you know, so they're fueled and ready to go. I think I sit back some nights and I'm like, man, if we had that, how could we have been?
I played with you for 7 years. I never saw you drink a water after a game.
Just saying. He's acting like he's a camel.
Just saying. Hey, you stopped drinking, which I absolutely love, but don't pull that fallacy on this guy.
I didn't say I drank the water. I said it was in the bag that they gave.
True. Hey, Rayzor, in '99, I got traded to Pittsburgh. You guys went on an epic run to the Stanley Cup Finals. Lost on a controversial goal. Just talk about that team, that playoff run, and everything that you guys did. And talk about the goal, that how close you came to a Stanley Cup. Neither of us won a Stanley Cup, and it's the epitome. But you got so close, and you had such a great team.
Yeah. Once we got rid of you, we just kind of settled in, and everything was nice, and we were able to play. No, you know what, Barney? You know those guys that we played with. That we were a tight group of guys, and everybody got along, and we had just about everything. Obviously the goaltending, and that year our power play was not good. It got into the playoffs, and our power play was on fire, and it carried a lot of games. But I think it's just the depth and a lot of guys stepping up and playing big roles that maybe played above themselves. And I think that's what the playoffs does. It brings out the best in everybody, and to sit and lose it the way you did because you played so well. I remember that year. The finals was one thing. Beating Toronto in the conference final was probably the most amazing feeling ever. The bus ride we had from Toronto back to Buffalo for an hour and a half, 2 hours, whatever it might have been, could have been the greatest 2 hours of my career. Guys, crying and talking, and it was so cool to be a part of that. It was a great experience. But the finals, you lose the way you did. It sucks. Now you look back, then you were like, shouldn't have happened, but who knows? Who knows? Now I look at it and I go, hey, I'm just thankful I had an opportunity to kind of be there. Was it a goal? No. And even those guys talk about how they don't think it was a goal themselves, but a lot of things changed after that. But it's unfortunate, but hey, it's part of the game too.
That last picture we showed of you, it looks like you were Silence of the Lambs. You ate someone's heart in that picture. But I mean, what happened in that picture?
I probably bit somebody. I don't know. I'm trying to think. It's Montreal, and I'm not sure who I might have fought in Montreal. Maybe the Roberts boys back then. They were around.
Sylvain Blouin.
Yeah, but I never really met a French guy that was that tough, so I don't know.
Yeah, I can guarantee it wasn't Brad Brown in his first game, because he didn't get a punch in. I can promise you that.
Oh, no, he didn't. Well, he had an idea, but it wasn't a very good one.
How about that story? It was his first game, Brad Brown, Montreal's first rounder, doesn't play a shift the whole game. Last shift of the game, they put him out against Rayzor. Oh. His first fight, first shift ever, hasn't played a shift in the third period, and Rayzor one punches him. Just like, what a bad coach. Whoever it was, what a bad coach. And he knocks him out one punch.
Oh, that is awful. How could you do that, Rayzor?
It wasn't that hard, just kind of, timing, getting him in the right spot.
Well, he got me in New York, I can tell you that. He knocked me out in the far corner. I'll never forget it. But Rayzor, Barney talked about how instrumental you were in his career, how, comfortable, I guess it was on the ice, knowing he had backup in you. But how was it for you to have guys like Maisie and Barney just to kind of alleviate some of the pressure maybe for you?
Oh, it was so good. And, as the career went on, there was less and less guys. But when you knew you could go play your game, and that was a style we played then too, like we'd be at home and Bucks would start, 5 of us and get the building going, boys, get her going out there. And, just to get kind of expected and wanted you to go do it. So, it's a little more comforting. Over the years, there was a lot of guys. Like, I know Maisie and Gordie Donnelly and we had over 300 minutes that one year, and we're the only team in the history to all 3 guys have over 300 minutes on a team. But you talk to guys now that they just hated coming into our building to play. And over the years, Barney, Paul Cruz, guys like that were serious, tough guys that could play. And, and we played it hard. And it just seemed like the coaches we had with Teddy or Max, they enjoyed playing that way and allowed us to play that way. And so it made it hard on teams. You didn't always win, but it was entertaining, and it was a tough place to come in. And I think that's a big thing for it, that, when you're out there and you're the only guy out there, but when you got 2 or 3 guys, are right over your back and they're going to be there to help out, you become really brave, a lot more brave than normal.
Rayzor, you won the King Clancy for your contributions off the ice to
Yeah,
charities. You
that's
do
one of them right there.
There it is. There it is.
You got any? I'm trying to point at it, but I'm not very good at that.
There's a President's Trophy there too. That's cool.
Yeah.
The President's Trophy, I got that with Ottawa Conference Championship there. Yeah.
A lot of goals left in those sticks behind you. I know that for
they're
sure.
all wood. There's a lot of sticks in there.
Oh, hey.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, probably 500 I collected over the years from the guys. Not just our guys, but guys that I played against that you respected and liked. So it's pretty cool. They're just kind of piled up here. Wish I had something to do with them, but
That's so cool.
I was going on the award, and then you were a captain or an assistant captain for so many years, a leader with the Buffalo Sabres. Last year, I was honored to be at your induction into the Sabres Hall of Fame, which was really, really cool. And how much does that mean to you? Because I know how much you do for charity, and you're not one of those guys that does it for the cameras. You do it when the cameras aren't on. You do it by yourself. You organize people to help out the less fortunate, Children's Hospital, so much you do. How much does that mean to you, and how big has Buffalo just become to you and being ingrained in that community?
I think it's important for all the guys to give back, because I was always taught, I had some good guys when I first came in, Mike Foligno, Mike Ramsey, and these kind of guys that, taught you early that you've got it. It's a small town. You get out, get involved, and give back. And, over time you realize that, you did your thing on the ice, but if people appreciated the way you played and the type of person you are, it makes a huge difference. And for me, I was single all my whole career. So you had all the time in the world. So you like getting out, you like getting involved with things, helping out. And it was just something that came second nature to you. I grew up in a town that, if somebody needed something done, there'd be 30 people show up there on a weekend and do it for whomever needed something done. So you were kind of brought up that way. Now, same thing, my kids, I try to get them involved with things as much as possible. They're doing it on their own now too. So yeah, I think it's cool. Winning an award for it is neat, but it's not the reason you're going out. There's nothing better than going to a hospital and talking to a kid, putting a smile on their parents' face or the kid's face or whomever. It's just a good feeling. I think that's kind of what life's all about. We get tied up an awful lot in our job and being all the whatever, being recognized and all that kind of thing, when you can make a huge difference and giving back and always tried to make the most of it when we could.
Rayzor, last one for me. Speaking of putting smiles on people's faces, the team's doing so well. You had some lean years. Yeah. I know what that's all about. I polished a turd in Arizona for a long, long time. Bankruptcies, all of it, right? You could shoot a cannon some nights and not hit anyone. But are the fans coming back? Is the excitement now that the team's turned?
Yeah, and you know what? We always have the competition here with the Bills. And being the Bills being done, everything is turned towards us now. And we are packing the building now. People are excited about it. There's nothing worse than going out of the house every day and having somebody, what's wrong with this team? What's wrong? Now they're talking, they're excited. They're, the places are packed everywhere downtown every night. There's, the people, even on road games, there's fans, so many of them now. But in your own building, it's a tough ticket again. And it's just a matter of having that product on the ice that, does well, works hard, and they're loving it. So, for us, yeah, being in the business, it makes it a lot easier than sitting there every night trying to come up with something to try to sugarcoat things a little bit. You can just speak the truth because it's happening right in front of you. So, yeah, it makes your job so much easier.
Rayzor, you're the best. Thanks for coming on. Go Sabres. Let's make a playoff run here, and hope the family's well, and say hi to everyone for me.
Can I go to bed now?
Go to bed on that huge pinup.
You walked into that one.
I was hoping. Thanks, Rayzor.
See you, big boy.
Well, there you have it, folks. That big smile says it all. And Rob Ray did not disappoint. This guy is an absolute savage. I hope everyone enjoyed it. The guy's got stories for days. So chill, so relaxed. The guy was a nail gun, an absolute nail gun. Literally, probably the top 5, top 6 toughest players to ever play in the National Hockey League. He literally fought everybody. His stories were absolutely epic. Matthew Barnaby was brilliant. Teammates together. Can you imagine that line? Rob Ray, Brad May, and Matthew Barnaby. I mean, I was the same way in St. Louis. I used to stir it up. Kelly Chase and Tony Twist used to clean it up. No different in Buffalo. But that Buffalo Sabres team, Foltz, they were feared. I can tell you that. They came into your building. You went into Buffalo. You had your head on a swivel because that was a long, hard, heavy night.
And he was mostly before my time, Rob Ray. I first got introduced to his games and like his highlights through my fandom of Rick Jeanneret, who's the former radio guy for the Sabres, who has just some of the most unbelievable calls. And some of his calls of Rob Ray just wailing on people are like all time like fight calls from the NHL. So shout out Rick Jeanneret. But thank you to Rob Ray for joining us. Hopefully he's wearing a helmet now in between the benches after he got sniped earlier this year. I mean, you've been down there, Tyson. You know it's dangerous, right? Like if you're
It is. Yeah, well, I've been hit, a lot, way too many. I got hit right in the seeds one time. Oh my God. It was it was deflected. It came in hot, no chance to react. You just took it right, literally on the head. So it was a painful experience, but it's more the face that I worry about. Those pucks come in. I mean, you're so focused on everything else. Those pucks get deflected. They come in hot. You never know. So Rob, take care of yourself down there, buddy. That face has taken an absolute beating for a lot of years. So thank you for your time.
Yeah.
I hope you guys all enjoyed it. That was one hell of an interview. Matthew Barnaby, thank you for coming into Utah, co-hosting. We stayed well hydrated from the Lake Effect. Thank you guys once again for the entertainment, the live music. You're looking for live music in Salt Lake. That is the place to go. NASHCAST Official on Instagram, NASHCAST Official on YouTube, and NASHCAST Official on X, formerly known as Twitter. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Foltz, you're the best, buddy. I missed seeing that smiling face. I will see you soon. We got a couple NASHCasts coming up. Once again, I'll be back in town at the end of the month, February 26th, when the Colorado Avalanche are in town, and March 1st, when the Hawks once again come back to town. We will be at the NASHCast. Guests to be announced maybe next week as we lock them in. I do know that Mike Weir is going to be my co-host for the March 1st game. So I cannot wait for that. And also Utah's own Salt Lake kid, born and raised, Trevor Lewis, will be my co-host for the Colorado game on the 26th as well. So I hope you guys enjoy that.
That's going to be great. And Tyson, just before we break, buckle your seatbelt, okay? I don't need you flying through that gigantic. All right.